guardian or liberator, bringing light and guiding spirit to darkness, or even the true God. But what we have been having to deal with here on earth is anything but light and goodness. Quite the opposite. The Earth's would-be controllers disguise their true intentions by positive-sounding words while they go about their final solution to implement a truly dystopian future for all life on Earth, in the form of a new world order where Lucifer is installed as the Most High, and they are in complete control forever. A year after Milton's Paradise Lost was published, in 1667, John Amos Comenius, a Czech philosopher and theologian who is considered by some to have been the father of modern education, published the Via Lucis in 1668. I did a deep dive on Comenius back in 2020 after somebody sent me a publication about his life and asked me to take a look at it, and in the process of doing so, I learned a lot about how the reset timeline was constructed. In the Via Lucis, Comenius outlined his recommendations for the improvement of humanity through Pansophy, or all-encompassing knowledge into one amalgamation of all sciences through a union of knowledge of alchemy and magic with divine wisdom. He advocated for a new world language, for scholars from all nations to take place in this global reform, and a Collegium Lucis, or Collegium of Light, based in London, to coordinate all of this activity to overcome the world's misery, ignorance, confusion, and war. What really stood out most for me here, first of all, was seeing the words, a new world language. Because of all the world's languages, the one which qualifies as an international language is English, and then seeing the words involving a union of alchemy and magic. And there is good reason to believe these two subjects are related. This is what we are told about modern English. It is the form of English spoken since the Great Vowel Shift, a systematic change in the pronunciation of vowels for which the causes in England are unknown, which began in the 1400s and was completed around 1550. Texts from the early 1600s, like the King James Bible and the works of William Shakespeare, are considered to be early modern English. With the works of Shakespeare said to have single-handedly changed the English language of this time, with things like a huge vocabulary of 34,000 words and 2,000 new words. With the colonization done by the British Empire, English was adopted as a primary or secondary language around the world. Is there magic embedded in the modern English language? I will point out the simplest examples that I can think of to demonstrate that yes, it is. The first example is the word spell. One meaning of the word spell is a series of words that has magical powers, like an incantation, or being under a magical spell, when what you do is out of your control. The word spell in English also means reciting the letters in a word, as in spelling a word, or how do you spell that word? Then there is the English word grammar. Grammar is defined as the whole system and structure of a language in general. There is an etymological connection between the French and English word for what we know as grammar and the French word grimoire. A grimoire is a book of magical spells and all things related. Was there Western European alchemy in Shakespeare? Apparently so. I was first clued into Shakespeare and alchemy in the research for my last video on John Winthrop when I saw this book about his son, John Winthrop Jr., who was an early governor of Connecticut called Prospero's America. Prospero was a sorcerer in Shakespeare's play, The Tempest. Now moving forward in time a bit. The Bavarian Order of the Illuminati was founded in 1776 by Adam Weishaupt. Weishaupt was born in 1748 in Ingolstadt, Bavaria, Germany. He went to a Jesuit school at the age of 7 and was initiated into Freemasonry in 1777. Weishaupt fled to the Duchy of Saxe-Gotha-Altenburg under the protection of Duke Ernest II starting in 1784, when his radical views on Illuminism got him in trouble with the ruler in Bavaria after writings of his were intercepted and deemed seditious.
So what do I mean by the secret spells of the English language? Well, let me share with you what I call our premier life sentence. And it goes something like this. We awake each morning and go off during the weekdays to earn the living, at various jobs and undertakings until we come to the weekend. And this seems perfectly acceptable to most people. However, more people die between 6 and 9 on a Monday morning than any other time of the week. So I do what I call a translation of the English language, and I spell that Trance, with the idea that words cast spells. So when you translate that life sentence, you remember that a wake is a funeral party for the dead. Mourning is the state you're in when you attend a wake. And you would have to be in a weekdays to earn the living, since urns are for the ashes of the dead. We call our jobs undertakings. Job itself is a Hebrew word for persecuted. And what we get at the end of this perverse bargain with life is the weak end of the deal as we become progressively weakened ourselves. And so our most prevalent greeting to each other is hello, the reverse of which is, oh, hell. And at first, I suspected the hands of collusion entangling the language to foster illusion. And I think it's quite true that a culture's theology has a great deal to do with a word's etymology and how it evolves over time to combine incompatible meanings that may undermine the original thoughts it was meant to define. But now,